Okay, so self-image. Your self-image then is built up out of all of these things. It's built up out of your beliefs, limiting or otherwise. It's built up out of your history. It's built up out of your cultural conditioning. It's built up out of what your parents taught you and what your friends taught you. And the choices that you made for yourself, okay? You might be a physically large person. Like me, I'm a pretty big guy. I think I've told you, I'm like 6'9", 265, or 205 meters and 120 kilos for my international friends. So I'm like a big dude. And I know some people that are big guys that like slouch and hunch because they don't want anybody to look at them. I don't care, man. I'm like, look at me. Like, I'm 6'9", my dad's 6'4", my mom's 5'11", she wears big heels. I was just used to tall, proud people. So maybe that's why I can do this show. I'm used to getting looked at. I'm like, whatever, look at me. I look back. At least I smile. Hey, how are you? So I had a choice where I could choose to look at my height as a limitation or as an asset. You know, a lot of people tell me that I should have played baseball, basketball. Look at that. This shows you what I like about sports. But instead, I went with martial arts, where I can use my reach for something else, right? I love training in the martial arts. And when I first started, I was told that I was too big to be any good at it. I was. Because most martial arts, you might be shocked to believe, are designed for little Asian people. And so when you see somebody like me, you don't think that it's possible until you actually see me doing it. Because it was a choice I made. I didn't choose to believe and accept that limitation. I didn't take that into myself as something that I could not do. Okay? So look at yourself then. We're talking about happiness. I know it seems like I'm going all over the map, but all of this is related to happiness. If there's something that you're unhappy about right now, if there's something more that you want, look at two things. Look at what you believe about that thing, and then look at who are you being in this situation? Who are you being in this relationship? Okay? Like, I'll give you an example. I know somebody who hasn't really dated, didn't date at all for about 10 years, and once they started dating again, they just chose many bad people after bad person. And now this person doesn't really do anything at all to find that special someone. They just kind of sit at home and think that, you know, the perfect person is going to miracle themselves into their living room. And that's not true. You still have to be in action. You still have to do something. You still have to meet the universe halfway. And yet, I also know other people that are on the extreme other end of the spectrum that try and force things on people, that try and force relationships, that they try and get the first guy who will take their phone calls and force them into this relationship, or make them get married, give me a baby, rah, and they try and force their will on the universe. And that doesn't work either, right? Like we've said before, you kind of got to meet the universe halfway, but you got to co-create, you got to partner. Things are coming on all the time, things are coming up all the time, and you have to, yes, be willing to go with the flow, but also be willing to open up your sails. You know, it's like whenever you're sailing on the ocean, sometimes the wind's going to blow you where it's going to blow you, but you have to get back on course, right? You know, when I talk about this self-image, it came from the idea is from a guy named Maxwell Maltz. He wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. The title's kind of crazy, but the book is excellent. There's several editions. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. He was the first one to develop self-image psychology. And I'm shaking the camera. Sorry about that. He was the first one to develop self-image psychology. And the reason why he was able to do this is he was a plastic surgeon. And he found people would come in and get work done, and sometimes it changed their life completely. You know, taking an inch off their nose made them a new person because they saw themselves as a new person. Whereas someone else would come in and get extensive reconstructive work done and still believe they were ugly, still believe they were too fat, still believe they were too skinny or whatever, because they did not change the way they saw themselves, okay? So what you have to do then is you have to start with you. Examine, what is it that you believe about you? What is it that you think is true about you? In fact, I've done this before, but maybe you haven't heard it before, and if you know the answer, don't tell anybody. Who are you? Just tell me that. Who are you? Well, if you answered your name, that's not who you are, that's your name. If you answered that I'm a man or a woman, that's still not you, that's your sex. If you said, you know, I'm an accountant, that's not who you are, that's your job. That's not you either. That's just what you believe if you say you're a Christian or Jewish or Muslim. If you notice, as you start peeling away these labels, none of these things are who you are. It's what you believe or what you think or what you do, but it's not who you are. So who are you? Well, there's two possible answers to who you are. One is you are. That's it. You are. Which is actually pretty profound if you stop to think about it. But the follow-up answer to that is, because you just are, then you are who you choose to be. You are who you choose to be. Okay? Everything that you are now are choices. Some of those choices other people made for you, but you chose to accept them. And you continue to choose to accept them. And you can adapt new choices. You can change at any time. You don't have to change drastically. You don't have to change everything overnight. You just have to start the ball rolling. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than yesterday. Okay? So if you grew up in a culture that prizes negativity and aggression, you don't have to stay negative and aggressive. You don't. You can change it, right? Or if you were taught that, maybe your mom had a lot of bad experiences with men and she taught you that men can't be trusted. Or maybe your dad wasn't around and you decided men can't be trusted. Well, some men can't be trusted and some women can't be trusted either. But you know how you're going to find out the difference between the two? Trust them, right? So you can start adapting new things. You can start inputting new software into your mind, programming yourself in new ways because you're already being programmed all the time, right? It's coming in from all sides. It's coming in from advertising and your friends and your family and your own thoughts and the books you read. It's always going into your mind. Remember, I already told you, your subconscious takes everything 100% literally. Okay? 100% literally. It takes everything that you watch and listen and take in, and it makes it about you. Okay? So, I've said in the past, I like action movies. I like violent action movies. I don't deny that. But I don't watch things like horror movies. And I never watch things like Faces of Death and stuff that are like actual human lives ending. That's not entertainment to me. I don't like to let that come into my being. I don't like to let that start to influence myself and my perception of the world, right? Because remember I told you last time, the world is great. Life is great. Everything's great. It really is. Do some messed up things happen in this world? Certainly. But do some really fantastic things happen in this world? Yes. And do more fantastic things happen than awesome things? Yes. The thing is, all of the negative things get a lot more attention than all the positive things. So it's up to you then to focus on the things that make you happy, to focus on the things that really bring you joy, even if it's just in your own mind, even if it's just in your memories. The easiest way to change your mood is to vividly imagine the last time you felt truly happy, and you will be truly happy again. Okay? Now I'm going to give you an idea here that I've shared with a couple of people because I'm running out of time because I reset my watch. Get an inanimate object, ideally a rock. Rocks are perfect for this, okay? And vividly imagine the last time you felt really happy, really successful, really joyful. The best time that you can think of and the best emotions that you felt. And when you feel that way, channel this energy into the rock. Just will consciously that all this energy is going to go into the rock. Okay? And the rock will start to act like a battery for all of your positive energy. It really will. And in the future, anytime you pick up this rock, you can start to feel good again just by holding on to your confidence rock or your happy rock or your success rock or whatever you want to call it. Don't knock this until you tried it, okay? Believe me, if you want an explanation for why it works, I don't know. Are you really charging the rock? Are you just convincing yourself? Are you programming your own mind? Is it a trick you're playing on yourself? It doesn't matter. None of that matters as long as it works. And this works. So do it. Get a rock, charge it. Love, happiness, success. I think you should just pick one emotion and name the rock, by the way. Once you have it, just ask it its name. And whatever comes to mind, that's the rock's name. So it might be, Billy, your happy rock. It sounds silly. It works. I'm telling you, try it. I'm running out of time. I love you. Find me. PeaceLoveMoney.com, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, B. Dave Walters. You're great. I love you. Okay, bye-bye.